have to look.
All right, welcome back to the Junkman's Adventures and the Shifting Gears podcast. I have on the phone the SkullKrusher and a little bit of house cleaning here. Letting you know, I do have another regular type video coming on this channel. It'll be a little project. I do have a little carburetor video that I'm trying to work on as well, and trying to get that done. And then I will be live streaming some work I'm going to be doing on my 2005 Buell motorcycle, but I gotta find time to get that all set up and everything, and I just, life gets in the way kind of thing. So that's why we do these. Figure if you want to join in the chat, say hello, ask a question. I mean, we'll take pretty much any questions. We kind of have some topics or things we like to talk about, but we'll kind of talk about anything. And leave a comment down below if you have something you'd like to opine about or for us to talk about and join in. So anyway, on the phone I have SkullKrusher, and we were talking just a little bit before we got live here. It's April 1st, April Fools and everything, and you were going to tell me a little bit of a story of something happened at work today, but I told you to hold off because I thought this would be great for the little podcast here. So, what seems to be happening, or what kind of has happened in this week?
Well, I went to work and was just sitting there getting ready to eat my breakfast, and a bird flew over my head. We had a bird in the office.
For real,
And
or if that's somebody kind of joking around, like said, "Hey, look, a bird," and everybody looks, and there's not really anything.
No, it was real, and it was flying around, hitting the windows, trying to get out. And um, the other guys that I work with, I was in a little bit earlier than everybody being there, but the few guys that were there already, I'm like, did you see that? Did you see that bird? And um,
So did other
the one
people
guy's
see this, or was it just kind of you were the only one seeing it?
no, there was a couple out of the four of us. There was three of us that see it, and then one guy he didn't see it. So what happened? We have this little break room, and I was trying to catch the bird. I didn't know what else to do, so I was trying to catch the bird in a box, an empty box, and I was going to try and take it outside and let it go. And that didn't go very well, and it finally flew into our break room, and I'm like, all right, well, it's trapped in there, so I closed the door.
Yeah, but
And
weren't you worried he's going to get into the coffee and all that? I mean, I guess you're not the biggest coffee drinker,
I'm not a coffee drinker, so
the
no, I
donuts and
wasn't.
all that.
No, we don't have donuts in there.
Oh, okay.
And we really don't have food in there, so other than the coffee, it was fine. I wasn't too worried about it. I just was more worried about the bird flying around the office than anything. So I closed it in there, and I was talking to some of the other guys, and they're like, "Well, we should probably notify maintenance to come get this bird out."
Maintenance. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I didn't have their number, and I was like, so I put on my safety gear because I got to go out in the shop to do this, and so I put on my safety gear and I go out in the shop and I track down the guys from maintenance, and okay, we'll be up in as soon as we can. And I come back up and can't find the bird in the room.
Now, is this a big room, this break room, or in
Uh,
your office, or I guess?
it's a kind of a smaller room. It's probably 20 by 10.
Okay.
And so then by this time it's 8 o'clock and people are showing up. Well, um, I've already I texted my engineer friend, and then I texted my boss. I told him that well, you want to laugh? We got a bird up here in the office, and so they all come up and they're just like, okay, so where's this bird? And I said, well, I trapped it in the room. And so they look in the room and they said, well, we don't see a bird in there. And so we're all staring at through because this room has windows, so we're all staring into the room trying to look around and find the bird. And
Right.
finally someone says, I don't think there's a bird. I think you're just pulling an April Fool's joke.
Okay.
So I think there's a few people. I mean, obviously there's two other people that did see the bird. So they knew what was going on, but I think a couple of them believed me, but the others are just like, no, you're just pulling an April Fool's joke. So we go on through our day because we had some meetings, we had some people in the they were showing them around and stuff, which is part of my boss's concern because he's like,
Oh, so
we
you
gotta
got
we gotta we
some
got
big wigs
people from
there.
yeah, we got people coming in looking at the plant, and we got a bird flying around.
Or
So
people
well
or at this point, people claiming a bird flying around
yeah,
because the
yep,
folks that are concerned about it haven't actually seen it, right?
yep, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so all morning I hear this, oh, you're just pulling an April Fool's joke and everything. Well, about an hour before lunch, we left that door closed all morning. But um, about an hour before lunch, I start hearing chirping,
Okay.
and so I get up and I walk over and I look through the windows and I see the bird again. And I happened to catch where it was. I watched it, and I happened to catch where it was hiding at. It was hiding behind the microwave, one of the microwaves.
Okay.
Ironically, we got 3 microwaves. All 3 work. We use one. The other 2 are just sitting around as in storage. So it was hiding behind one of the storage ones.
Okay.
So of course I say, oh, there's the bird, it's back. And oh no, this is an April Fool's thing again. And I'm like, no, I'm serious, it's back. It's the one guy that didn't believe me at all, he goes, okay, well, where's this bird? And I said, well, it's hiding behind the microwave. So he opens the door and he goes in the room. He's like, I'm going to catch this bird. And so he pulls out their microwave and the bird comes flying out and he's chasing it around the room,
With
trying
what?
to catch it with his bare hands.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I mean, you had a box before, but it's like, okay, what's this guy using?
And so then the engineer, our engineer guy, he like grabs a trash can, an empty trash can, and he goes into the room. And then all of a sudden we hear, so we just got a new engineer like a couple weeks ago, and all of a sudden we hear him go, oh, I'm gonna go help those guys. And he goes running into the room. So there's 3 guys in this small room trying to catch this bird, and the rest of us are just sitting outside the window just watching the chaos happen. And of course our boss catches wind of it.
So hold up. Is anybody recording this with their phone? I mean,
No, I should, and I was informed I probably should have, but and so somehow my boss caught wind of this, so he comes up and he finally sees the bird too. And So they literally chased it around for half an hour, I think. And finally one of our other coworkers, he goes, "Well, instead of trying to catch it, why don't we just try and shoo it out?" Well, I should tell you that where I work is out in the middle of the country, and we actually have a barn that's incorporated into our shop.
Okay, yeah.
It's actually between the offices in in the shop, and so they opened the door that would lead up to the barn, and we opened the door to the break room, and the bird comes flying out, and it's flying around because it doesn't know where to go, and we start kind of directing it. We get it out into the barn,
Okay.
and so then we get in the barn, and we're just like, "Oh, okay, we're done." And my boss, the barn is it's a I mean it's not a it's not a huge barn like well like yours growing up,
Right.
um but it's a decent sized barn. Well, it evidently found someplace in there to go, so we haven't seen it since. But
Well,
um
see, now what you need to do is you guys need to put up a birdhouse and a little feeder, and that can be the company bird. Now, what kind of bird was it? Could you tell? I mean, I'm assuming
yeah,
just a.
it was a sparrow.
Okay. Yeah, I figured something common, I guess. But
Yep, just a common sparrow.
that's a well. What makes it good is that people thought it was an April Fool's thing. That that
Yeah, they thought I was trying to pull an April Fool's joke, and then it turns out that they were the fool.
Yep.
The bird made the fool of them.
Wow, actually years ago, of course it makes more sense. Place where I work, has a big warehouse, and at one time I was warehouse manager. Uh, during the summers, of course, you'd have the dock doors open. You'd think there'd be a lot of birds going in there. Not a lot, but once in a while, we had skylights. Once in a while, you get one in there, and they'd be trying to get out the skylights, and they couldn't figure out. So they'd just sit there going thump, 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 and be in there all day, and then quitting time and everything, and close up the door, come back, and there was one that stayed in there for geez, definitely like more like a week, and then it kind of figured out, how to get out. uh, but nothing like that, other than I guess speaking about birds and things, and this was one outside. It was a pigeon though, and it must have ate something. It was in the parking lot. I drove up. I'm always first one to work, unlocking the place, and drove up and I saw all these feathers and stuff. I was like, huh. But it's not uncommon to see pigeons and stuff around there. Well, then there was this one flopping around, and it didn't look injured or anything. Um, because it was flying around just fine. It didn't look like its wings got clipped by some sort of predator or something. It must have ate something. I don't know that got it messed up because it was just waddling around and like it was drunk, or doped up or something. And it was just like flopping around, and eventually it did kind of just fly away. That's why I said it wasn't injured, because it did eventually just fly away. But it was like waddling around, his head's flopping back and stuff. I don't know. That's the first time I've ever seen something like that, I guess. But
Oh,
uh,
we've had a skunk come into our shop before, and we've had a raccoon that actually I think the raccoon had rabies. Um but we had a raccoon that was walking around on the outside of the shop
yeah.
one day. But the another kind of crazy story. Um so we have uh we have a problem with toads for whatever reason, and they just try to get in. I don't know if it's because it's just cooler in there or what, but they're always trying to get in. And and he doesn't work there anymore, but one of our engineers had to meet his end customer,
Okay, yeah.
and show him around the shop and show him his equipment and stuff. Well, he when at the time our office was not where the front was, and so the engineer walked up there, met the guy and his end customer,
Okay, yeah.
showed him around. I
show him
think he
around the
was on
shop
his
and
way
show him
out,
his
equipment and
and
stuff. Well, I can't remember
he
why they
at the
stopped,
time
and I can't remember
our office
why
was not where
the
the
engineer
front
stopped.
was, and
And he was
so the
distracted by
engineer
something
walked
else,
up
whether it was a phone call or something. And he
right.
said he got done with it, and he turned around, and this end customer had picked up all these toads, had his both hands full of toads,
Oh,
and
jeez.
goes, where are we going with these? And it was like, oh well, I wasn't expecting you to pick up all the toads.
I guess you could
And
walk
so
because you're close to the river there. I guess you could go dump them near the riverbank. Kind of. I guess you're a little ways away.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because like I said, we're out in the country. I don't know if obviously that has something to do with it, because these are just like land toads. But
right.
um, I don't know if it's just because it's cooler in the building or what. But,
Yeah, I don't know.
but yeah, that's
Well, anyway, you had mentioned you had a had. I guess what do you want to do? We were talking about board games or thinking about board games, but also something came up. You have the jelly beans or something. The right.
oh yeah, I've got them put away. I'm probably not going to get them out tonight.
Okay. All right.
We could play that another night. Yeah, I've got our HR gal was giving out and boozle
The bean boozled. So,
be
okay.
be be
Yeah.
be. I've actually never played it before, and like, but
Well,
I thought about, like, I guess what I was thinking about was like every once in a while just trying one.
I'll warn you. I did a video a while back on these things, and yeah, you basically do the spinner, and it tells you to choose the bean um, that it corresponds to. So like you have okay, they color coded them, so you have like for example like peach or barf. Okay, which one are you gonna get? You might get the good one, you might get or let's say I know the one that and they the generation I had was like the third generation. I think they're up to probably like the fifth or sixth by now. I remember one was of course like lemon lime or lime or whatever the normal green one is. Maybe apple something or pear. That's it, pear. But then it's also color coded to something that's uh, grass clippings. And I tell you what, they the quote bad ones taste like what they say they are. Like uh, the grass clippings literally tastes like what grass clippings smell like. Okay, fresh cut, fresh mowed grass. God, I'm trying to think of the other ones. I gotta Google it here. Yeah, I guess you have them put away, but one is like toothpaste or something. Shaughnessy isn't that bad because it's just kind of a a, a dull mint. I mean, yeah, it's not great, but it's not.
Well,
Um,
and this is must be different than what you did, because it's just a little package, and it's a mixture
Okay,
of
so it doesn't have the
things.
spin.
There's not necessarily two different flavors to it.
Okay, so it's just a mix,
Yeah,
and you don't know what you're gonna get because
yeah, and it's like there's like 6 or 7 in there, and that's why I was like thinking it was just something I could just like try one every once in a while. Oh, I
okay,
grabbed a grape or whatever. But um, I'm also kind of wondering if it's not some kind of a thing they were doing for April Fools.
probably. Well, see, that's the thing. Okay, if it's that pack, um, yeah, it's just you dump out, and it could be the good one, or it could be the other. And I'm just looking here, like I don't know which generation you have. The fourth generation. So here's like you got either coconut or spoiled milk, uh, strawberry banana smoothie, or dead fish. Like I said, Tutti Frutti one, or Stinky Socks. And I remember that one was in it, and it kind of tastes like how BO smells. I mean, it's literally butter popcorn or rotten egg, and those old stink bombs and stuff. That's what it's. And then chocolate pudding, and then the dog food was probably, I think, one of the worst um, ones. It tasted like what the worst canned dog food you could, if you've smelled it.
Yeah,
Honestly, barf wasn't. It was sour, uh, kind of that acidic sour, but not terrible. I mean, and then like there was the other one was like the lawn clippings, one that um we had in there. It seems like there was one that was like um oh, the skunk one. Yes. God, that put the taste of how a skunk smells in your mouth. I mean, it's amazing
oh
how they got the flavors. That dog food was still the worst, but that one was a close second. But anyway, all right. Well, we'll do that another night, where you try them, and
yeah,
just
yeah. I can save the package
actually,
if
I tell
you're
you what.
like.
Actually, I tell you what. We'll plan ahead. Hey, if somebody's watching right now, tell us if you'd like to see that. Leave a comment down below. But I'll see if I can't find a pack. Actually, I know where I can go get some easy here locally without having to like order them. And I'll do something with you too, if I can. Or if I can find the one with the spinner and it has a lot in there, I'll ship you one, and we'll try to do the spinner. We'll try to figure out how to do it live. I'll get my webcam going. We're not doing the video this week, but I just didn't get all that set up. But maybe we'll think about doing that. That might be kind of fun. Um, Heck, if we could get Derek or something in there on that. Well, anyway, speaking of games and playing board games, that's what I titled this. I really didn't know where you were kind of going with this, but I'm
No,
sure
and
I,
I
I'm
and
sure we'll get somewhere with it.
yes. Well, and the reason why I kept it a secret is so I got a question for you. Does the Monopoly man have a monocle, or does he not?
Okay, so you're doing the Mandela effect. No, he does not have
Yeah.
a monocle. He does not have a monocle. No, I know that.
Well,
It's like
yeah.
the bear. Same with the Berenstain Bears or Berenstein.
I knew that about the Bearstein Bears, but I did not know that about the monocle
Although
on the on
that isn't,
Monopoly guy.
that isn't one uh, that I immediately think of as a um, same like boy, we're shifting gears here, but people somehow mix up Jif and Skippy, and there was Jiffy peanut butter. Like, not,
Yeah, that one I don't.
I
I
don't get.
that one I don't ever remember.
Well, I don't ever, I never missed that. There's a couple other ones um, that were a little. I felt were a little odd. Actually, Mandela effect. you got me curious here. We'll go. I'll look up. There's got to be a quick article or something. Um, let's see. 40 Mandela effect analysis. Surely enough. Oh wow. Well, okay. Okay, everyone. Curious George with a tail or not? Yeah,
Yeah,
Jiffy. Okay. Uh, Looney Tunes. You know, with the tunes as or tunes as in TUNES. Um, but uh, it of course it was tune. I never remembered it tunes as in cartoons. It was always tunes because there was music. The music, some of them were all music and very little dialogue. Um, some of these like Febreze with only one E. I don't know, or two E's. An Oscar like Mayer with a EY versus AY.
uh,
Like
like
Skechers.
like I said, the only one that I ever remember is the Bernstein Bear one because
Yeah,
I actually
I think like some of these are almost like sort of made up because
yeah.
yeah, I'd heard of the monocle one, but like people getting that mixed up, and it's like, well, I don't know, are they thinking of, like I said, like Mr. Peanut or whatever because he had a monocle, but
That's exactly the where I heard this. That's exactly what they started
oh,
talking about
okay.
too.
I just figured that's probably where they're getting it because it's like, well, he had a top hat and cane and was yeah, but
I I think I thought maybe I'm completely wrong. I thought they said that I think part of the confusion might have been there might have been a junior or something that had one,
oh, maybe, huh.
but I'm not.
Or
But I'm not 100%. I can't remember completely now. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But
okay, yeah. But anyway, was that kind of the only thing you had with the board games, or did you have
yeah,
some?
yeah, but so I saw the background and it kind of reminded me of when I got that game for you.
Yeah, and I have it. And if I was doing, and like I said, I should have set up the video. And yeah, I have the Dukes of Hazzard game. And I think well, maybe not me and you played it, but me and uh, my wife played it or something. Uh, it's not very good, I guess. It's a little. I mean, it's a game. I mean, there is a game element to it, but they're not a whole lot of strategy. It was basically which a lot of those kind of games are marketing, kind of have more of a marketing aspect to it, where the
Yeah.
gameplay is not super engaging. Um, Actually, you might not see it. I got the old I think it was 1981 or two Pac-Man board game. I mean, there's a you know game that's a little okay, that's already a video game. Does it need to be a board game?
Yeah.
That's a cash grab. Although it's funny, part of the reason I put that up there is because I do have, and I got that for my birthday or Christmas, but my sister got me the new one. You probably you might have seen it on shelves if you ran through the toy aisle or near the toy aisle, because there's a bunch of those kind of, I don't know, throwback games or playing on nostalgia type things. Like there's a like a Friends trivia game and stuff like that. But there was this one, and actually I put it together. It comes with a lot of pieces. It's actually well built. It's not just a. It's actually a plastic game board that you fit together, and it mimics the maze perfectly. Or like this '80s one does not. It's um does not. Uh, but man, reading the rules, it you play it literally how you play the video game. There's a few rules around, okay, how long like a power pellet lasts and stuff. Uh, but it's kind of, yeah, kind of need four players, four to really make it fun, because each player then gets to control. You take turns as Pac-Man, but each player gets to a turn gets to be a ghost and make their own move choices when they roll. So it could, there could be real strategy to allow folks to kind of work together, because the whole idea is also, as being a ghost, you don't want to get eaten either, too. So you can either play for yourself, or you can team up on the person playing Pac-Man, and then, but it's just it's almost it would be a long game, because you just slow the video game of Pac-Man down to a turn-based system, and you only move, you roll the dice and it says you move three places. Okay, Pac-Man moves three places. Okay, then somebody moves a ghost three places. So just like slow the game down to a crawl, and that's where each ghost moves on its own. A player is moving a ghost, making a decision, rolling a dice, and then Pac-Man is slamming down these little pins that you start with them up and then put them down, and then you count the dots if you don't clear the maze, and then there's cards that you draw or something to see if fruit is going to appear, and it it's it seems a little complicated, but honestly, when you figure it out for the different scenarios, it's pretty easy to go. But it's like it could be really fun with four people, but like we tried just playing it with two, and you of course you can, but one person is playing ghosts and one person is playing Pac-Man, and it's like, well, it's kind of boring, because it's one person making a decision versus a third. So kind of like, I'm trying to think of other games that are sort of like that, um, but anyway, that's one modern game that I'd have. But otherwise, I probably haven't. Other favorite board games, I guess, that really come to mind. Speaking of ones that have a lot of setup and stuff, is I think of Mousetrap, which is honestly not a super fun game either. But the fun is building the mousetrap parts, and then seeing if it'll work, go all the way through. It's kind of a Rube Goldberg type deal, and then at the end there's a cage that if a player happens to be in the right spot, the cage comes down on the mouse and they're done. But
Yeah.
but
I think
honestly,
that's pretty much what I always did, was we'd set it up and just do that part
right.
instead of
Well,
actually
well,
playing.
actually, after that, I started just robbing some of the the parts, like with the marble stuff, and then getting PVC and plumbing parts and making basically a marble run, and using some of the parts to as a basis for that, like the little stair step deal, and then the it's supposed to be like the drain chute, and it goes to the tub and dumps the ball in and stuff. But yeah, when you had this topic, it made me think, like, well, what games from my childhood that I thought were a little hokey even as a child, and that's kind of one of them, even though it was a little gimmicky. But the good games are all the classics, I guess. Even the Game of Life, even though there's not a lot of strategy with that, but and I have it here, the 1964 version, um, that me and my cousins and stuff used to play, which it was my dad and aunts at the time, and so it's just interesting. But I've also seen the more modern games, like the ones that was in the 90s, that released in the 90s, and then like the 2000s, and then currently. It's like, definitely inflation has hit with some of the spaces. um, and then I also am not 100% sure on the newest version, but I don't think you can sell your kids at the poor farm anymore for 20,000 apiece. Which to then get a chance to go on to Millionaire Acres, um, but yeah, like on that, I know like the lowest paid, which is job is or career, I guess, is just I think just they call it you get a bachelor's degree, and that's every payday $6,000. Um, Whereas the top one is the doctor, and that's uh let's say it was am I wrong? Yeah, $20,000. And then, then everything else is in between. Or no, was it 50,000? No, 20, 20. No, it was 20. Yeah, the later versions, the doctor's like $100,000. You know, uh, yeah. Uh, and then I think on the later ones, which is kind of just the PC police got along, and I think though you don't have to stop at the church and get married now, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. uh,
I knew they updated some of the pieces, or well, I thought maybe like maybe it maybe it was that you still get married, but maybe you could like you picked who your significant other was. Like
Maybe.
you could have lesbians, or you could have two men, or
Well, I guess.
you know,
Well, I guess even in the old one, you could put whatever you could put pink or blue in there. It didn't really matter, but
well, I know, but I think they were trying. I think that's what they were. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. I don't know, but
but I just know that there's some spaces like not that they were politically incorrect in the old board, just more outdated, um, like things that you just wouldn't understand. Yeah, I can't remember. It seems like there was a few like disaster type things or something. Like, well, I know like buying a house was like buy a house, pay $10,000 or something. Where not like buy a house is like now pay 100,000 or something. Trying to find a picture of the modern game board because I knew there was a few. Well, it looks way different, but it seems like there's less spaces, I guess. But anyway,
oh,
uh, but anyway, either way, I liked it. That was kind of always for me and my cousins was always kind of a holiday traditionally around either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and we'd play it several times, go through, and uh, Monopoly was another one, but that's one where it's like I can't think of too many games that we actually when we started playing it that we actually finished because that one you can just go on forever. Um, uh, but I do.
you can unless someone sells you the expensive property and you build on it.
Yeah, well, exactly. That and then well,
Otherwise,
and the farming game was another one that was kind of like that. Except for it was a little easier to complete I guess a reasonable amount of time. Um, I just remember I didn't find it as fun, partially because I never wanted to borrow money in the game. So I might have been a poor farmer, at the end of the game, but I had no debts, or I'd usually win mainly because I didn't have debts or mortgages or something to buy. Um, I think mine was like the 1979 or the early version. Um, and like I said, I played it so little I can't even remember exactly. It was very much like Monopoly, but a little different because you had to think about buying seed or feed or animals and things, as I remember. Um, but it's still, you go around the board and land on things and draw cards and things happen. Uh, I think of some other games.
We always we always played a lot of either Sorry or Trouble, which is pretty much the same kind of game,
Yeah, yeah, I think
just different boards.
right. We just had Sorry, didn't have Trouble.
Well, and I guess different boards, but also one used dice and the other uses cards. And growing up, we haven't really talked about this, but like the ones growing up, I can remember playing Candyman a lot.
Well, yep, I have my original Candyland, which actually wasn't. Mine was probably my dad's, so it's from. Well, no, wait a minute. It's the '70s version. It has the. Um, but anyway, yeah, I played that a lot. Uh, I never, as a kid, uh, never really. And the other one that kind of goes along with that is Shoots and Ladders. But I uh, have it, but I never, as a kid, I don't know, I never liked that game. And I think part of it was because I didn't like the uh, uh, the board itself, because you went, it was a grid, and then it had all the chutes and the ladders, but you started at the bottom and you just went up and over, up and over, up and over, and worked your way up the grid. But then the pictures were all over, so you could slide from different spaces. And I guess I just didn't like the fact that when you were moving your piece, and I don't know, maybe I'm anal that way. Is I didn't like how you were moving across the pictures of the slides and the ladders. I guess. I mean, just, it was
Uh,
almost an OCD kind of thing, because the board looked like a mess to me.
yeah.
As I remember, I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody out there, but it's kind of um that was, I don't know, just didn't really like it, I guess. Um, uh, Another one which I have, and me and my son play that, is it's not a well-known game, but it's called Funfair, and it's from the '60s, 1960, 65, I think. Yeah, something like that. But anyway, it's definitely just a. There's some cards which are like prizes, like it's like you're at a carnival, and the pictures, there's spaces, and you have to, you roll a dice and you move, and then there's things on a space that tell you what to do. Either you get to, take a prize, you lose a prize, extra turn type things, or and then, like, each section you have to gather a certain amount of prizes to enter that section. Otherwise, you got to start over to the next section. Um, and then same with towards the end of the game, you need to have collected a certain amount of prizes to be able to move or not lose turns. If you land on certain spaces, the game kind of punishes you if you didn't roll very good. And like I said, it's really just a pure game of chance. But I like the artwork on it. I guess I always have. But it was made by Whitman, so not a well known um, board game like Milton, or manufacturer like Milton Bradley or Ideal or Parker Brothers, or missing some of them in there. But that's one, again. That was one that got played a lot. Mostly when, like, before I was like 10. After that, then it was kind of more card games. Um, of course, Uno, Skip Bo, or then regular card games with a regular deck of cards. Um,
Yeah.
Trying to think, there's some. I, as a kid, played a lot of old games because it was like my grandma kept games from my dad growing up. So we're talking games from, like I said, the late 50s and early 60s board games, and they were pretty well used, but we used to play them. You know, they were, and of course that back then I didn't know any better. Didn't realize these games were already 30 years old when I was playing them. You know, or almost 30 years old when I was playing them. And that's the problem, is some of them had a few like maybe missing cards or something. So I remember having to make certain cards. Um, One game that's actually very kind of fun. It's kind of a take on I'd say a take on sort of a combination of Uno, uh, uh, what is it? It's not, no, it's not Slapjack, but like I think War, a little bit. But it was based around the TV show Mork and Mindy, and yeah, but it's a card game, and like Uno, where you need to either play the color or the number, it had these goofy card, from the show, and different characters and things on the cards. Of course, they were different colors, and that's what you'd match up. But then there was certain wild cards, and then certain ones that made people draw cards. So the whole deal is to run out of cards. But then there was also the element of like sort of slapjack in a way, where if you put down the same a certain card, well, honestly, like when two jacks show up, but or like it'd be the equivalent of like playing a Joker card, sort of. Then there was these, because he hatched out of an egg or whatever. There was these styrofoam eggs, and depending on how many people you played, you put one less egg than how many players, and you would put that down. Instead of being like slapjack and all that, you would grab for the egg, but you'd have to say his little catchphrase on there, like nano nano or whatever, and grab an egg, and whoever didn't get an egg, kind of like musical chairs, then you had to draw 2 cards or 3 or something. That was the penalty. But you just went around, and again, it was a deal where you could totally gang up on people or play for yourself. Maybe it was a little bit like Four Kings too, a little bit of elements in there. But anyway, the artwork on the cards is something, and then just the names on them. It's like, for the characters. Let me see. I can't remember. I have it up in the closet, and it'll be one I get out when people get older.
Yeah.
Gosh, I should put, actually. What I could do is put an image on screen, but it's like, yeah, the cards were like really weird, because it was like he's from outer space, and so these were like different creatures or whatever. Trying to find a good picture so I can read some of them. Yeah, you had things like Frankel, Herbal, a Yuckachuck, a gazoo or something. Let's see, like a Humferdinkle, something. I mean, they're just really, really weird. But anyway, that's another one from the childhood that I remember, and that wasn't even new when I was a kid. I mean, like I said, that game and show was old when I was little. But that's the thing. I'm trying to think of the new ones. I remember the TV shows for like Crossfire and like Hungry, that's a kiddie game, but Hungry Hippos and that. Never had any of that. Remember seeing the commercials for like Risk and stuff, and never played it.
I've played Hungry Hippos. I didn't own it, and then like Risk, I've tried playing it.
That's another one, almost like
of course I played it. I played it with people that knew how to play it, and I didn't, so I didn't last long.
And then I think there was this one that was like a haunted mansion kind of thing. In a way, a little bit like Clue, but different than Clue. Um, I remember the commercial, like, oh, they fell down the stairs or whatever, or the chandelier fell on them, and killed you, Um, 13 dead end drive. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I just remember the commercial. Again, that one required a lot of setup. It had a lot of pieces and parts. Um, it was more about setting the game up than actually playing it. As I remember, I can't remember whose house, but that would have been a kind of a a sleepover slumber party kind of game, because you needed enough people to make that one worth setting it all up. Because there was
Yeah,
things like, I mean, it was card game and dice where you moved, and if you're on the right space, and then the props and stuff, then you hit a lever and it made the thing go down, and if it hit your piece, you're dead, and but if it didn't, you survived. So, um, kind of like that. There's just guess. Of course, everybody's played Guess Who, I would think, which is basically just 20 questions.
yeah.
um, but let's see, what's some other? I guess another one I really like was Mastermind, which is basically just a puzzle puzzle game. Um, I liked it because you only needed two. Absolutely, you only needed two players to play that. Somebody set up the the code, or code breaker, it's also known, can be known as, and then you make guesses, and then they put down the pegs, like, okay, you got the right color but in the wrong spot. And then you have about 13 or 14 guesses to guess the code or the pattern that the person um came up with. Oh, you know what? Actually, speaking of board games, you got me that AMA motocross game. I I don't think I've ever tried to play that yet. I think that was because it was like one time where it's like we were going to get together and play that. Well, it never like happened. It's got like
Yeah.
Ryan Dungey on the front and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have not.
I tried playing it, but I played it not correctly, if I remember right. Because you actually move backspaces to, um, I guess they were trying to get the feeling of a race, but so
Oh,
like
okay.
one guy
So,
would pull ahead and the other guy would have to move
oh,
up
okay.
back a couple. But
Yeah, and see, yeah, I guess I know I'm pretty sure I opened it. I just know we haven't played it, just because figured it was kind of one of those, you probably need a few people to a few
you
people.
probably need at least three, I would say.
That's what I kind of figured. It kind of needs a few more people
But
to
I
play.
but I bought those more as
Oh, I
because
know.
they put them out they put them out that year, so
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You probably
I
can't
picked the
find them
siege
anymore.
up
Actually,
one.
let me see. Let me see. Motocross board game. Let me just. I'm wondering. It's Oh, here's the board game. He rated it 3 stars. I'd have to read it, but I was gonna just see. Let's see what it goes for there. Just go on eBay there. Yeah, 12 bucks with $12 shipping. $7, $15, $25. Oh, it's kind of all over the place. But yeah, I don't think they make it anymore.
No, I think it was just that one year.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is yeah, it'd be a more of a collectible deal. Well, and that's
You know, speaking of collectible things, I didn't get the first edition. I was a little bit by the time I found out about it, they'd already sold out, and you had to buy it off of eBay, and it's a bit more expensive than what I wanted to pay. But I did get the newest edition. Metallica made a Monopoly game, or
has
well, I
doesn't
mean,
doesn't almost.
Monopoly made a Metallica
I was
version
gonna
of it.
say, well, doesn't about every isn't there about anything for Monopoly?
Yeah, but um, I mean, being Metallica was popular, so it like sold out,
Well,
and
of course, yeah, people gonna keep that sealed, thinking, oh, they got something, but um, because I know they have a lot of them that are like state or city themed, um, which I have an old, which is actually kind of fun. I have an old, it's Denveropoly, of course, so it's about Denver and Denver area, and it's interesting because it was from the it's from about the 90s or something. And what's neat, what I find neat now, of course, is the spaces and some of the stuff on there. uh Businesses or attractions or whatever either names have changed or they're just completely out of business, don't exist anymore. So it's kind of funny that way. Is some of this stuff, yeah, just some of the things on the cards and the board doesn't, it's like it doesn't get, because it was a lot of it, because I don't think it was a monopoly like Parker Brothers. I think they own that. It was just a local thing, because I
uh-huh.
remember it was sold in, I don't remember seeing it at the time, like Toys R Us or the toy aisle and or KB or anywhere in there. I remember seeing it for sale at like grocery stores, um, out there, and like there, the chain that's out there is um, King Supers. Of course, that's known as Kroger in the Midwest, but in the West and stuff. And it would be like on an end cap at a grocery store. So it was kind of one of those kind of products, not really a nationwide or even in, that I remember being in, like, say a Walmart or a Target or a Kmart at the time, um, kind of deal. So I'm not even sure. I have it. I should get it down. I should look. I don't even, like I said, I think they use the opoly kind of, maybe in probably slightly infringing in a way, but
Yeah.
because it's not like your Metallica one is Monopoly licensed Metallica or vice versa.
Yep.
So somebody did, somebody got licensing and all that. This is a Monopoly style game themed around sort of Denver, Colorado, um, like attractions and things. But it's set up pretty similarly because you have the set of the railroads. Those are, I think, you have um, Elish Gardens, which again, that's why it's not, it changed, Six Flags bottom, but Elish Gardens, you had Lakeside. uh, I think you had Heritage Square, which of course that's gone. um, uh, well, and it was Elitch's, but Elitch is at the old location because it like had the addresses and stuff on it for some reason, and I forget what the other like what would be the railroad, what the other attraction was. There's another, like, oh, Waterworld, of course, Waterworld. And then like your other property spaces would are things like 16th Street Mall and oh man, now I want to go get it and look at it. Actually, actually can keep it going. I have it handy. Maybe I'll go grab it real quick now that I'm thinking of it. Okay. Yeah, I have it handy here. Um, yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's not eating. Uh, it's not a Parker Brothers or anything. It's a okay, a Cityopoly. So it was a small company that made these kind of games. Okay, out of California, but this 1989. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was more like the 90s, but let's see. I'm looking at it here. Oh no, that's right. Okay, so yeah, like okay, yeah, your looks like your railroad stuff. You had Funplex, of course, that's gone. Uh, Case Membership Warehouse. I don't remember that specifically. Uh, yeah. May DNF. Okay, that's gone. That was equivalent to look at them. I can't remember on a Monopoly board. Not saying, but you're okay. Yeah, a lot of it was local businesses too. So like your Boardwalk and Park Place were Norton Frickley and Associates, attorneys at law. I know they're out of business. United Bank, which that bank's defunct. um, yeah, and then your let's see what is it like uh Marvin's Gardens and whatever. Those the next most expensive ones. You have the Brown Palace. Of course, that's still there. That's a fancy hotel. So of course we have the Denver Zoo. Those are I think like those must be like the electric company and something. Let's see. Then we have of course Robinson's Dairy because that's a local thing. Oh yeah, and like okay, I think that's the CBS affiliate here, but KMGH Channel 7 is like where you pay your income tax. Um, uh, oh, FAO Schwartz, because that's right. There was an FAO Schwartz downtown. That's gone. Of course, FAO Schwartz is just gone. I mean, yeah, technically there's the brand that somebody bought, but um, oh, you'll like this. And I forget which space this would be, but it's one of the radio stations, but it's 1067. Okay. You should know that frequency. However, it's not what you think because this was back when that was KAZY before it was KBPI because KBPI was 1059
Uh-huh.
at that time. Oh,
And I listened to it when it was 105.9.
well, yeah, and I got a T-shirt that I won at well, I know it was made into a T-shirt quilt because it was just getting almost threadbare, but I wanted to keep it, and it was screen printed all over with different bands of the day that were popular. So, and I distinctly remember because it was one of the more prominent ones that you could just easily read without having to study the shirt was Alice in Chains and like Damn Yankees and I think Megadeth was on there honestly and there's a couple other ones kind of in that similar genre um, and time period where they were kind of new rock. But
Yeah.
let's see. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Elitch's was the free parking. Um, a unique. Well, the Shane Company, of course, that's well known jeweler out here, Tom Shane. He's known the voice of actually South Park made a joke about that most of the country probably wouldn't get uh, in the Guitar Hero episode. I mean that's like from 2006 now. Um, yeah, that's the ones that I have the Denver Botanic Gardens. But yeah, anyway, it's kind of interesting because yeah, a good chunk of this board um, is not in business or the names is sort of changed. Like I think actually Channel 7, the call sign or call letters are different now. um, Yeah, but it plays just like Monopoly. It has um, different pieces and oh shoot, you get oh there's a coupon in here. I didn't realize this. $8.99 for one medium pizza, $12.99 for two medium pizzas. Expires December 31st, 1991. God, actually, pizza prices really haven't gone up much since then. Supreme, cheese lovers press, pepperoni lovers, or meat lovers. Pizza Hut. I didn't know that was in there. Geez, the dice is a dodecahedron. Huh. uh,
You
yeah, well,
suppose between the places being named differently and then using a different shaped dice and stuff, that's how they kept from being like sued by.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing because well, even the thing is if you just looked at this, like if you saw this at a thrift store or like a brass armadillo style antique store, you wouldn't immediately think, oh, that's a version of a Monopoly game, because the front in this case is a hand drawn that has a lot of the um, stuff that's represented on the board. So the cash register building, which is United Bank, which um, garden. There's the before it was Mile High, so that's or Invesco. Well, it's not Invesco, but before they built the new stadium, tore down McNichols. McNichols is right next to it, so it has McNichols Stadium right next to the old Mile High. So that's before the Pepsi Center. Really, I never really studied it. Oh yeah, the Rocky Mountain News, that newspaper. Oh. That's kind of funny. Yet I never got it out to play it. I just have it just nostalgic kind of thing. But yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that was again sold at like grocery store end cap. I remember seeing. Huh. Uh, I'm sure they had other city operations. What if they had like Lincoln and Omaha?
Well, I do I don't know about those, but I do know they had one for I don't think it was for the city of Holdridge. I think it was for Phelps County.
what kind of space that? Now I almost put that. Um, I
I
wonder. Wonder.
I don't I've heard of them.
I wonder if
A
there's a
guy I know
list.
runs a vintage shop that he had some. I don't know if he still does, but
Oh, I went looked up here. Okay, we got Opoly Games. Spanning 30 years, we've developed. I'm guessing this is the same company. Custom Opoly style games. 1,700 towns around the United States printed over 1 million games. Help organizations raise. So okay, it's like a fundraiser deal. So that's why there's a lot of advertising in it. But huh, I wonder if there's a list. Because Phelps County, uh,
I'm pretty
or
sure it was
something like
Phelps
that.
County.
Huh. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let's do a little. Mr. Low. Huh. I might have to look at this a little more. Just do a quick Google search, see if I okay. Omahaopoly, okay. Some on like Worth Point. Like minute, that was used. come from like eBay. I wonder what the. I can see a picture of the. I guess I can't really. Very good picture. Just curious the. Huh. Oh, here we go. Cambridge.
I can't.
Here we go. Cambridgeopoly. Okay, I gotta look this up. Okay, what do we got? Oh, geez, it's just like businesses and stuff. So you got like GTA and Tri Valley Health, Flyaway Market. Okay, the City of Cambridge. Okay, this one's pretty new because that would have been Mackey's, but Amateurs Bar and Grill because that's the old Mackey's place. They're along the highway. Hair by Meg's, which that's right next to Mackey's or the bar. Cambridge General Store, Corner Cafe, Cambridge Supermarket, a new truck stop because yeah, that's pretty new. So this is something new. I wonder if it's a okay, it's a fundraiser deal, and that well, I tell you what, we could probably have our own Opoly game made if we wanted to come up with kind of a charity we wanted to donate and see. Yeah, I'm half serious about this. We could don't figure out a charity we'd want to raise money for, and put together like a. I mean, I don't know if they do like we could have Team MGR-opoly or MGR-opoly or Mechanical God Racing Opoly. We'd have to come up with a name, or we could have Harlan-opoly. or something like that. I mean, I guess technically you were Furnace, but I think
We were right on the border.
yeah,
so.
that's what I was gonna say. I couldn't remember.
Like the border was literally not even a mile away.
And they have Faw Motor Company. They're Cobblestone Inn. that's kind of funny. They are. That's Carneopoly.
That doesn't surprise me.
Well, no, it doesn't. Let's see if I could. They have the picture of the board. They don't have a picture of the board, but on the box they have, of course, the arch and the crane. Of course, USA.
So it's got to be
Mona.
It's got to be somewhat new if it's got the arch on it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, this company apparently can. Huh. This has got to be riveting content. Listening, toggle over Google searches here that you can't even see. Well, that's the thing. I could share my screen.
Well, see, and they don't even know where you're talking about.
No, of course not. And there's 4 people watching right now. Yeah. Riveting YouTube commentary. Well, here's Huskeropoly. That's every Nebraskan, right? Right?
Nope. Well, we know one in particular.
Yeah. Well, and he ain't gonna listen to this. So we could rib on him, and he won't ever know. Yeah, you got Cornhusker.
He's probably at work right now, anyways.
Yeah. Well,
I think he's more of a second shifter.
Yeah. That'd be fun to try to get him on. I wonder if he could take a break and hop in on Discord. At the Devaney Sound. I mean, it's what you'd figure. Husker basement.
Yeah.
Of course, I kind of figured they'd have that, but yeah, this this Opoly Games gives me an idea. I don't know if we'd probably wouldn't make sense. We probably wouldn't be able to raise too much, but it'd be interesting. Of course, maybe it has to be a city or
I guess yeah, you'd have to see what the like if there was so many that you had to make, or
Well,
what
that's what I was kind
cost.
of looking here. Paying for your game bar is designed built with built-in advertising spaces. So that'd be the thing is you kind of pay, uh, um, you sort of pay for it through, which is understandable. Okay, yeah. So, or we could just pay outright, and then whatever we make back, we give to the charity. But hmm. Well, I'd have to. Yeah, who knows? I mean, it's just I didn't know it was a. I mean, I just thought this was kind of a, you know, a random kind of flash in the pan kind of deal. I didn't think the company was still around and the thing they did. Anyway, well, I
You gotta kind
suppose.
of you gotta kind of wonder if they're like either an offshoot, or if they just make them just enough different that they don't
Well,
get
I was looking at it.
bothered.
They're definitely like different, and I'm guessing Monopoly probably can't trademark the opoly part.
Well, and they maybe because it's for charity, they might get away with it a little bit more
Yeah.
too.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just kind of like on the pricing here. I had to study it. Cards. Huh. Hmm. Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know. I guess it's something to think about. I gotta say, if when we were a little younger and doing some of our other stuff, I could totally see us like almost jumping into this kind of thing. Because looking at it, as far as cost wise, I mean, once you sell some of the spaces and stuff to cover the cost, um, it really it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, it depends on the audience and all that stuff, especially. Huh. Interesting. Man, we really went. We really think we shifted into reverse here a little bit. we missed we missed the we forgot to put the lockout in and hit reverse because now the wheels are turning. All right. Well, I don't know if you made it this far into the podcast and you liked what you've heard. Leave a comment below, subscribe, like this, tell your friends. Um, you can leave a comment. Uh, Leave a comment Monopoly down there. Then I know that you made it all the way to the end. And I guess we'll catch you next week. So, all right. See ya.